there's an element of discovery that when people do encounter the work in this space, they kind of, other expectations kind of fall away. One of my collectors ostensibly owns the building, and he approached me as the Whitney was just opening. And of course the Whitney is transforming this already burgeoning neighborhood, but it's directly across the road from the Whitney Museum, and it's in fact one of the last vestiges of the meatpacking industry. It used to be a meatpacking plant. So it has many layers of this kind of these histories, and several of my artists, I knew their work had the kind of physicality and spoke to some of the ideas perhaps, you know, to do with the space itself, the dilapidation or the build-up of some of the walls and the layers of history. So I've been putting on shows here, and I see it as more of an installation or experimental space, definitely, than obviously a typical gallery space. The artists I tend to gravitate towards kind of have this combination of a highly charged aesthetic kind of presence and something intellectual, which is usually process-paced. So Dan Rushton is a Canadian artist who lives in Brooklyn, and I've been working with him for several years. He does process-oriented painting with these very inky black lines. He uses a mechanical plotter that he's rigged up to specifically look at the symbiosis of maze and path in his paintings. So there's this tension between the emotional and then the mechanical and these ideas of that landscape. These paintings are actually based on Picasso's drawings and etchings of the Minotaur and the girl who's leading the Minotaur through this maze he's stuck in and he's trying to get out of. So the idea of repetition is really important in that Rushton is using images that are similar and the outcome is always different. In terms of there being this idea of limitless possibilities, but he's still stuck in the maze.